Hello, my name is Christopher Renstrom, and I want to welcome you to my weekly horoscope predictions for February 26th to March 3rd, 2024. The theme for this week is Triple Conjunction Cazimi. Wow, that sounds like a party. Well, it kind of is, and it kind of isn't. What we're talking about here is a very rare occurrence that's taking place in the skies above, which is called a triple conjunction. Triple conjunctions are pretty rare. They're one planet more than a conjunction, and one planet less than a stellium. So they're neither one or the other, but what they definitely are is impactful. They're very powerful when these three planets come together in the sky. Now, what makes this week even more significant and even more special is that the three planets will be conjoining each other to the exact degree on February 28th. So what are the three planets involved? The three planets involved are the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn, all coming together at the same degree in Pisces on February 28th. So not only do we have a triple conjunction taking place, but they will all be in a particular state called Cazimi. Now, what's Cazimi? It sounds kind of like one of those Powerball lottery things or something along those lines. Cazimi comes from the Arabic term Kasmimi, which means to be in the heart of the sun. So in other words, you can have any combination of planets reach an exact degree of conjunction in astrology. But what makes them Cazimi is when the sun is involved. When the sun forms an exact conjunction to Mercury on February 28th, at the same time that it will be forming an exact conjunction to Saturn, this makes the whole thing go Cazimi. Okay, so what does Cazimi exactly mean? As I said before, it means in the heart of the sun. What happens is that a planet approaching the sun or just leaving the sun is said to be in combust. Combust is this idea that you can't really see the planet in the sky. And imagine, I don't know, one of those Bugs Bunny cartoons where the character is going through the desert and the tongue is hanging out and they're completely fatigued and dehydrated. A planet under the beams of the sun is said to be dehydrated, or it loses its energy, it loses its power, it loses its vitality. But when it becomes Cazimi, which means it reaches the exact same degree as the sun in the sky, all of a sudden, the light of the planet becomes resplendent and glorious. All right, so instead of just being fatigued and tired, it suddenly is in its glory. And what Cazimi does when the sun is exactly conjunct, and it has to be to the very exact degree, when it is exactly conjunct a planet, it uplifts it. It brings out the best of the planet. So what's the best of Mercury? Well, the best of Mercury is quick thinking, genius even, the ability to sort of come up with the idea or put together the clues or solve the problem like that. Okay, so this energy becomes even more powerful with Mercury in Cazimi. Mercury, although Mercury has difficulty in the zodiac sign of Pisces, what this gives to Mercury is a remarkable intuitive ability. It might even give you an ability to sort of remember a dream or to transcribe a vision or an image that you have. It might be one of those situations like Shirley Jackson experienced when she wrote the short story, The Lottery, where she came home and wrote the lottery in one sitting. So it can be one of those things where all of a sudden that information or that image or that vision is available for you to transcribe. That could be something that could manifest on this day. Another thing that could manifest on this day is Saturn. Now, Saturn next to Mercury normally is a bit of a wet blanket. Mercury was the planet of thinking, and Saturn is the planet of tests, trials, and tribulations. It's also the planet of inertia and doing things slowly and taking a long time to accomplish them. The easiest way to think of Saturn is as Eeyore, if you remember Winnie the Pooh. Eeyore's famous line, "Oh, Pooh, it will never work." So that's kind of what you want to think of with Saturn. You put Saturn next to Mercury, and that can be a wet blanket type of energy. That can be very sort of pessimistic. Thoughts are leaden, apathy prevails, and there's this feeling that whatever you do is going to be an exercise in futility. but not when they are in Cazimi. In Cazimi, all of a sudden, the shutters are thrown open with Saturn. The light comes streaming through, and what you experience is the profundity of Saturn. Saturn was the planet of contemplation, reflection, of great thinkers. If you think of the Rodin sculpture where the fellow's leaning forward and he's thinking with great heaviness and great soberness, this would be Saturn. But when you combine it with Mercury, the light thoughts of Mercury and the profundity of Saturn come together so that you actually have something that you can describe, that you're inspired by, and that you can apply to your life immediately. My feeling about this lineup, this triple conjunction in Pisces, is, well, the image that I get when I think of it is, imagine a snow, wintry, cold evening, and you're knocking on the door. You're very cold and you're very hungry, and you knock on this door in the dark. You don't know what's on the other side of it. And suddenly the door opens and you're bathed in light and heat. This is the Cazimi. This is the solar splendor, is sending its rays through the planets of Mercury and Saturn. And so what you may experience on February 28th is having come to the end of a search or a journey begun weeks ago. Hello, Aries. The big aspect for you this week is the Mars-Jupiter square taking place on February 27th. Mars, as you know, is your ruling planet. Mars can be associated to competition and also bravery and valor. So here it is forming a square to Jupiter on February 27th. My feeling is that this might set up an awkward situation where you and a friend or a mate from work or a comrade suddenly find yourself in competition for the same prize. Now, the first feeling might be, well, I don't want to compete with someone that I like or someone that I work with, or I don't want to imperil our relationship or association in any sort of way. So you know what? I think I'm going to back out. Well, what I would recommend instead of backing out is sort of turning around that idea and sort of engaging, embracing in the spirit of contest, which is Mars at its very best. So if you and your friend can take on the let the best person win type of attitude about this situation, then that means you would apply the very best skills and the very best talents that each of you can possibly bring to this contest to win it in your favor, and not see the other person as challenging you in a personal or a negative way. Look at it more like the way that you would play a board game or be on different sides of a football game. You're not doing it to smash the other person. You're doing it all in fun and in gamemanship. But at the same time, you're very serious about winning. And so is your friend. So when the victory is scored, when one of you does win, you may win or your friend may win, what you want to do is embrace the spirit of good sportsmanship. That is, you want to go ahead and shake that person's hand and say, you know what, that was a contest well fought. You were wonderful. And to the best person go the spoils. Yes, to the best person goes the spoils. This is something which is such a rare thing in our world nowadays, where when people are on the losing side, they lie about it, or they have sour grapes, or they want to get back, or they're going to say, let's do it again, or there's a reason why I lost. Go ahead and embrace this good sportsmanship, something that you really get from the combination of the energies of Mars and Jupiter coming together. Go ahead and embrace this spirit. Not only will it make the victory, the triumph sweet, whether you win or not, but it's a wonderful example for the rest of the people in your life.